Hey guys, it's Mark here from Primal Wrestling, and I've just got back from Smackdown live event at the O2 Arena, and I just want to give you kind of my reaction to it and my review. This is pretty much just going to be a brain dump of everything that went on this evening. I'm going to talk about the kind of matches in general quickly, and then I'll talk about kind of the other aspects of the evening, which kind of leads to what my title's about. So first up, before the show even started, we had a pre-show dark match with Aiden English and Ty Dillinger. Now, let me say, Ty Dillinger is over in every possible way. The pop he got when his music came on was incredible, and the 10 chants and everything that followed. He's just so over as a character right now. Whether it's his gimmick or him himself, I don't know, and the longevity of it, I don't know, but I hope that WWE treat this well and kind of keep going with it. There was a lot of like Ty Dillinger t-shirts in the crowd as well, so I'm hoping they can push forward with this because he's definitely over with the crowd at the moment. And then after that, I think we had a little package about WrestleMania and kind of recap of WrestleMania. And then JBL's music hit, and he came out to a raucous crowd who booed him out of the building, and the heat on him at the moment is just, again, incredible. He took it all in his stride, to be fair, but then obviously the Fire Bradshaw chant started, and it was pretty loud, probably the loudest chant of the night, to be honest. And we opened up with the opening segment with Randy Orton coming out and talking about Jinder Mahal. He then came out, and then we had Kevin Owens come out, and then we had AJ Styles come out, and then we had Baron Corbin, and then we had Sami Zayn. And this segment felt like it went on forever, and that obviously set up the six-man tag at the end of the night. The biggest pop in that whole section was definitely for A, Randy Orton, and B, AJ Styles, which is pretty much what I expected. Again, as I say, the segment just went on a bit long for me, and I'm just a bit bored with the WWE of just taking all their top stars and putting them in like multiple tag team matches. I just think it's an easy way out and an easy way for a main event. I'd just like to see them be a bit more creative with it. Saying that, to have all them people in the same match was a feast for the eyes, essentially, so I was looking forward to that potentially at the end of the evening. By the way, I'm really sorry about like this black bit here. I don't know what I can do really. I can turn like that and talk to you, but then that's a bit weird. So I shall carry on with like Two-Face. And then we went into Becky Lynch versus Natalya. Now again, this was slightly weird in the sense that Carmella came out and announced Natalya, and then she came out with Tamina, I think, or Tamina came out with Carmella, either way around. And then Naomi came out. Now, her crowd reaction was a massive pop as well. Like, it was really good. I was really surprised. And her entrance is amazing. It's probably my favourite entrance at the moment. And she was definitely over with the crowd. And then she announced Becky Lynch coming out. Becky, obviously kind of a hometown girl, essentially, came out to a big pop as well. And then Charlotte came out, and basically said that, you know, she doesn't need any introduction and that. And they all went down to the ring, and Becky and Natalya had this match, and then it all descended into a bit of chaos with everyone attacking everyone. And then Natalya won. It's all, I've just driven home for 2 hours, so it's still a bit of a blur. But yeah, that match was really short, it felt like. And again, as I've just said about kind of putting all the top stars in these kind of tag matches, I just feel with the women's division, it's lost a bit of direction since Alexa Bliss and whatnot have gone over to Raw. It just feels like they're just packaging them all together because they're not sure what to do with them, or not sure who to put who in with feuds and stuff. And especially, it feels like, you know, they've brought Charlotte over and they're mixing her in with the pack and trying to turn her face. And I just think she was so good on Raw as an individual competitor and as well as a heel. They just needed to carry that on. They needed to bring it over to SmackDown, let her dominate the division, and there was plenty of feuds for her, especially with like Tamina as well. It was a good feud with that, Naomi and whatnot. I just feel they've dropped the ball slightly with Charlotte. Maybe, you know, it will change in the next coming weeks, but with the women's division right now, I just feel it's lost a bit of momentum and it's lost a bit of direction. Other bits in the show, we had Luke Harper versus Eric Rowan. Again, I love Luke Harper. He came out, he had a great crowd reaction. He's just the boss. I think, like, I hope he gets a real main event push in the next 18 months because he deserves it, and he would deal with it really well. I really enjoyed his wrestling, and I quite enjoyed this little match. Again, it felt quite short. But Luke Harper, I just love his agility, and it felt quite brutal when they would come together, and there was a few moves that they'd done, and I thought it worked really well. I thought the Usos, when they were having their little feud with American Alpha before WrestleMania, I thought that was amazing. That show before WrestleMania, that match they had with the American Alpha, was one of my favourite matches of the year, and I really took notice of the Usos. But then again, with what WWE seems to be doing at the moment, is they're putting titles on people and then not having them defend it for weeks on end. And I just felt that was a bit weird. And, you know, it was a match, Ascension versus Fashion Police. I know Fashion Police are Breezango. Sorry, I keep saying Fashion Police. I know they're number one contenders now, but it just felt like a bit of a non-match, really. Then we had a bit with Dolph Ziggler and Nakamura. Of course, Nakamura is hell over with the crowd. You know, everyone's singing his... Sorry, my car's just going mental. Everyone's singing Nakamura's theme song as he's coming out. The loudness of the crowd was louder than the actual song. You couldn't really hear the song. And the past couple of weeks on Smackdown, there's been obviously this to and fro with Dolph Ziggler. And I've not been that bothered about it on TV, but seeing it live, it actually quite worked well. And Dolph Ziggler had a few little bits. I'm sure they'll be edited, you know, for the show, but he reacted to the crowd heckling him quite well, and even said, you know, keep going, this is just going to be edited out and stuff. And it worked really well and got him a bit of heat with the crowd. After that segment as well, it was also announced that Dolph Ziggler versus Nakamura was going to be a dark main event after 205 Live, which everyone was really excited for, including me. I love Dolph Ziggler, I think he's a great wrestler, and I love Nakamura, so I was looking forward to seeing that. But then we went into the main event, and what I would consider a shocking moment is Jinder Mahal pinning Randy Orton clean. I know it was in the context of a six-man tag, but I did not expect that to happen. I thought they would keep them apart a bit more, but they had a little scuffle in the ring, and then, yep, he pinned him clean. And that was a shocking moment, and it worked well. It shocked me, and, you know, it left SmackDown on kind of a good moment, even though it was a heel prevailing. It was nice to see, obviously, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles in the ring. There was a guy next to me, and he said something, and it really stuck in my mind. And he basically said, if you went back a few years and said to someone that Jinder Mahal would be main event in SmackDown Live against AJ Styles, you would have got laughed out of the arena or wherever you were. But obviously, we're at this point now where Jinder Mahal's getting this massive push. And I will say WWE have done well with Jinder and his push. They've pushed him very quickly, but I think they've pushed him well. And I'm actually quite looking forward to Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal. I wonder if they will put the belt on Jinder. Obviously, there's all these rumblings about kind of they want to break into India and that market. But I just wonder if they'll pull the trigger so quickly on Jinder. But I think he could handle it. He's quite good with the crowd. And I think it would be interesting. I think the title on Randy is a bit of a non-point, really, and it might freshen it up a bit having it on Jinder. Overall, though, SmackDown, it just felt a bit average for me. There was nothing in it that really piqued my interest throughout the show. There wasn't any kind of... I don't expect, you know, every match to be like 5-star match of the night or match of the year, and I don't expect like 5-star matches all the time or, you know, WTF moments, but it just lacked any kind of moments, I felt like. I don't know if that was because of where I was sitting. I was quite high up and away from all the action. I had a great view, but it just felt a bit bland. I guess the litmus test is I was with my mate Jimmy, who is a very casual wrestling fan, hasn't really kept up with what's been going on recently, and he just said he thought it was a bit boring, and it didn't really excite him, and that's what you want the product to do. You want to take someone with you to a show and them to come away blown away by it, that they invest their time in it in the future. That's what WWE ultimately want. But tonight I think they just kind of missed the mark a little bit. And there's a general kind of, I've been really impressed by the brands and WWE as a whole over the last 6 months and up to WrestleMania. I've really enjoyed WWE again, but I feel, especially with Smackdown, that, you know, over the last few months I've really enjoyed Smackdown. I feel the last couple of weeks, just after WrestleMania, it's kind of slowed down a lot and lost a bit of direction and lost a bit of momentum. I don't know if they'll pick that up again for SummerSlam, but I think that kind of thought by myself was culminated in this evening, and it didn't blow me away. It didn't excite me, if that makes sense. So we obviously finished with SmackDown, and then we went into 205, and this was, along with Jinder winning, this was one of the biggest surprises for me. Now, I'd seen Mustafa Ali on TV, I think on Raw, possibly. Was it the night after WrestleMania? I really enjoyed him. I thought he was great. And then in this match, this was match of the night for me. I loved it. I love Mustafa Ali after seeing this match. It was athletic. It got me interested. Everyone was watching it, and it was a great finish. And I really enjoyed that match. It was by far the best match of the night for me. And then we also had Tozawa versus Brian Kendrick, which was pretty decent. And then we had a section with Neville, Jack Gallagher and Austin Aries. Again, that was good. There's a couple of brutal spots where Neville threw Jack Gallagher into the barricade, and it looked quite brutal, and I liked that. And I just felt, overall, it seems really weird, but overall with 205, it just piqued my interest a bit more. I was more invested in it, even though it's quite short, and I didn't think I would be. And for me, it kind of showed up SmackDown a little bit, and it felt like, the best way to describe it is, it felt like the wrestlers in 205 had a bit more license to do what they wanted to do, whereas in SmackDown it felt quite average, and it felt like they were just going through the motions to get through the show. So overall, I really enjoyed 205. I thought it worked really well. Neville is brilliant. There's not enough I can say about Neville. I think he's amazing. He's one of my favourite characters in the WWE at the moment, and I think they've played him right. And yeah, that's all I can say really. I just think he's been brilliant, and I hope it continues. What leads me on is to the crowd in general. Overall, the crowd in general, really good. Had, chatted to a couple of people. Everyone was happy, smiley, having fun. Lots of kids there and parents there. I had a young little kid sitting next to me. But the evening was ruined. It's put a sour kind of thing on the evening for me, in the sense, in the row behind us, we had about 6 guys and a couple of girls. They turned up 20 minutes late, and they were obviously pissed already, drunk, for anyone who's not in the UK. And they just ruined the experience for me. They were loud, they were obnoxious, they were chanting just stupid things, like, they were the worst kind of knobheads you can think of. They basically thought they were hilariously funny, but in fact they were just pissing everyone off around them, and people were getting annoyed. And then as the kind of boredom grew in with them, and the more drunk they got, it then turned into shouting racist things, especially about Nakamura, and where he's come from. I'm not going to repeat kind of anything they said, because I don't think that's appropriate, but it was just a bit horrendous, and it kind of left a sour note for me. I went there to enjoy the wrestling, and I went to enjoy a good night of cheering for people and booing people and just enjoying some wrestling, but I just had this constant drone behind me of these guys, and it was really distracting. And then when the racist stuff started, and just the weird stuff they were saying that just made no sense, it really started to kind of annoy me, and my whole attention was diverted away from what was going on in the ring and the arena to the guys behind me. And I wasn't alone in that. There was a couple next to me who I could tell were getting annoyed with it as well. And then obviously the more drunk they were getting, then the expletives came out. There was the F word and then the C word. And it was quite constant, and there was a young kid sitting next to me, and I just felt like, I get that people want to go and have fun and want to get, especially in Britain, want to get pissed and enjoy themselves, but at the same time you've got to have a bit of self-awareness around you of what's going on and who's around you, and just be a bit respectful, like, of other people trying to enjoy a show. And it just, yeah, it was just not needed, and it's just left a bit of a sour kind of taste in my mouth from the whole event. I know it was an isolated incident, and as I say, the crowd in general were brilliant. But yeah, that's all I've got to say really. It was a frustrating part of the evening, and it highlighted to me as a general thing, like, it feels like WWE, their product is stuck in the middle at the moment, in the sense, like, a lot of my age go and watch the shows, and then typically, like, my age, they want to go and have a drink and enjoy themselves, which is fine. I'm not against that at all. I like to go and have a drink and enjoy myself as well. And then on the other scale of it, you've got the young kids with the parents, and I think Jamie mentioned this in his Raw review the other day, that there feels like a huge disparity between the two. Like, it's a family friendly show and you've got the kids in that, but then at the same time you've got these lads behind me getting pissed up and shouting expletives, and it just makes things a bit awkward. And I think that's evident by the product that's being put out by WWE, and it's kind of in the middle and what? Lights out. It's the Undertaker. Boom. There we go. We're back. We're back online. They're going to go off again? No. So yeah, that's kind of my review. Smackdown was pretty average in my opinion. Really enjoyed 205. Mustafa Ali, star of the night for me. There's some great pops for AJ, Randy Orton, Nakamura, Naomi. Trying to think of anyone. Ty Dillinger. And then 205 was really good, but it was spoiled a bit by the crowd. And that's my ultimate review. Did you go to SmackDown Live? What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Am I completely wrong? Am I being an idiot? Tell us in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I know it's a bit of a rough video. I've literally got home. It's 10 to 1. I'm going to go and sit and watch SmackDown now, see if I change my opinion on things. And I've got this massive dark spot on this side, but I just kind of wanted to get this video out and my thoughts out straight after the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Come and say hello in the comments below. Give it a thumbs up if you want to, and definitely subscribe. I've been Mark from Primal Wrestling. Mark out.